have been various theories and hypotheses about the evolution of life. And when we talk about how life evolved on Earth, you would have definitely heard about Charles Darwin. He suggested many ideas about how life evolved, and one of his suggestions about the animals living in caves that they can lose their vision by disuse over time. But now the scientists are proving Darwin's theory wrong. Well, keep watching Gateway to Knowledge to know why do animals that live in caves becomes blind. This question has long intrigued scientists and been the subject of hot debate. Clearly, across the animal kingdom, blindness have evolved repeatedly. There are thousands of underground and cave-dwelling species, from naked mole to bats, found throughout the nature. Many of these species have lost their sense of sight. Charles Darwin originally suggested that eyes could be lost by disuse over time, but now a new researcher and a biologist want to get to the heart of the matter, and he may be proving Darwin wrong. He says that we think blindness in cave fish is indeed Darwinian, but ultimately this disapproves Darwin's original hypothesis of disuse. In a new research, he explains that eyes are not lost by disuse, but rather demonstrate Darwin's fundamental theory of natural selection at work. The research team chose to model a well-studied blind cave fish, which is actually the Mexican tetra. It is a small, docile, pink-hued fish just a few centimeters long that could easily make its home in an aquarium. And this fish inhabited the cave for 2 or 3 million years, giving it 5 million generations worth of time to evolve blindness. They selected the Mexican tetra because there is also a surface-dwelling form that has retained its sight, and for scientists, this built-in comparative power makes it a good choice for further exploration. They have two populations to study that can interbreed and are polar opposites for the physical traits. So the researchers team decided to use computational power to investigate how multiple evolutionary mechanisms interact to shape the fish that live in caves. But there was a problem in the caves, and the problem they face in these caves is that they are connected to the surface, and the fish that can see easily immigrate into the cave and bring genes for sight with them. Under these conditions, we don't typically expect to find such a difference in traits between surface and cave populations, unless selection was really strong. But how much strong it should be? In their model, the selection for blindness would need to be 48 times stronger than the immigration rate for Mexican tetras to evolve blindness in caves. They estimated that a measure of fitness for blindness, called the selection coefficient, in the tetra is between 0.5% and 50%. These coefficients are high enough that laboratory experiments should have detected a difference between surface and cave forms of the fish. There was also a hypothesis that they might be blinded by the light, but if the sighted fish swim towards the light, the only fish that stay in the cave are blind fish. They are not trying to get to the light anymore because they can't see it, which actually is a form of selection, and thus Darwinian evolution comes into play. According to this research, explaining a fitness difference as big as 10% between sighted and blind fish may be difficult, because losing eyes might not give you 10% more offspring. However, if 10% of your seeing eye fish leave the cave, the migration rate is reasonably low, and that could be enough. And if over the time, enough of the fish that could see are systematically being removed, they will also be removed from the gene pool, and that could be enough to drive the evolutionary process. So it could be this sort of habitat preferences that maintains the local blind fish population, and the fish that can see are preferentially moving out of the cave. And they found that even a low level of preferential immigration, for instance just 2%, would provide a significant boost to local adaptation and the evolution of blindness in caves. And it would be great if someone could develop a study to test Lancaster's hypothesis and whether it is driving the evolution of blindness in caves or not. And this will really help to answer one of the long questions that have intrigued biologists for over a century. So, by these findings, we can now reshape the Darwin's tree of life and provide a better explanation for the evolution of life. So, that was a short description about the animals that live in cave becomes blind. If you enjoyed my today's video, then do like and subscribe to my channel.